The growth on this project is absolutely insane. There's over 200,000 people in the Discord. The pre-sale is almost minted clean. The price floor is super strong and there hasn't even been a reveal yet. Let's jump in and check out Metasaurs. So first up, I want to say if you could hit up the like button, it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, down below there are chapters so you can fast forward to the sections that you want to help you navigate the video easier. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before jumping into the NFT space. Let's jump in and check out the website. So Metasaurs. So the story goes is that Dr. DMT, a Bored Ape, got sort of tired of being bored and wanted to kind of invent something and create something. So he thought he'd bring the dinosaurs back to life. And that's where the inspiration for the art comes from. This is an extension of what the Bored Ape kind of franchise is. It's not affiliated with it, but it's like the inspiration to kind of move on and be a tangent of it. And this is the founder of the project, Merlin. He's doxed himself, so that kind of just adds strength to it. And he actually does an AMA with Chainlink Labs, and you can actually check out that video up here if you'd like to, after this video, of course. So anyway, back to the website. So what we can see here is that the Metasaurs are meant to be a hybrid of taking the Bored Ape DNA, combining it with dinosaurs, and you end up with this artwork here, which is the Metasaur. And they're minting for 0.07. Now, when it comes down to the roadmap is pretty standard for a roadmap, nothing too groundbreaking just yet. They're going to be giving away a raptor. Now they are going to be working on companion drops, but when it comes down to it, I think that holding a Metasaur will be a mint pass to some of these other projects, and that's where the value is going to come in, and they're not necessarily a utility on the NFT itself. And then we've got the team here, and the founder has doxed himself, as I said previously. Now heading on over to Twitter, we can see here that they've only got 27,000 followers, and when it comes to the kinds of content that they're putting up, they're celebrating that they got to number 2 on Opensea, and then retweeting some of the memes and things like that. Now when we actually head over to the Discord, this is where it gets a little bit more exciting. What we can actually see here is they've actually got 204,000 members, 15,000 online, and the chat is absolutely insane. It's just currently blasting through, which is crazy, and it's been like this for days. And here is a sneak peek at some of the artwork that they're actually going to be releasing. So jumping over onto Opensea, we can get a snapshot of the project. We've got the 10,000 items, we've got the 6,700 owners, and the floor price of 0.64, so 0.65. If we actually go down and have a look at the buy now, now this project hasn't been revealed yet. We've got a price floor of 0.645, but it could quickly get up to the 0.7 with the volume that's currently happening around this project, and we'll get into that momentarily. Now let's jump over into Nansen and have a deep dive into the stats. Metasaurs deployed 4 days ago. What we can see here is that the volume on the pre-sale was absolutely insane. It was crazy. The volume dropped off, but the price ran up quite fast. And then it kind of dipped back down, and then we've this was the public sale, but then we've also got this day is just kind of starting, so we need to see a close before we can actually get anywhere here. When we're having a look at the price ranges, it's only been the 4 days, but it looks like there's currently an uptrend in the average price. Now when we come down to the individual transactions, this is a fun looking chart to have a look at. What we can see here is that on the secondary market, we went from that 0.8 mark, dipped all the way down to that 0.5, then up, then down, and it's finding its equilibrium, which is around this sort of 0.6 mark. I was actually in there and tried to actually snipe some of them when they went down and pipped below the 0.5. But I wasn't lucky. I ended up kind of getting the transactions kept failing. And after a few times, I kind of bounced out of that. Now, when we have a look at the top balances, what we can see here is that the top balance 201, that's actually the marketing wallet, Metasaurs.eth. So the top actual balance is 80, then we get 40, so it's almost 50% down, then we get 30s, then we get type 25. If we bump across, what we can see here is that there are a lot of holders kind of holding that more than 10, and then after that, it starts to kind of fill up with around those 4. So a lot of people are holding 4s, and then we kind of get down to the 3s. When we have a look at the top balances over time, they're just accumulating. No one's offloading a bag. Everyone's just stacking up more, which is crazy. Coming down to the smart money over time, just loading up their bag and holding on. So I believe that all of these people are holding on to their NFTs to wait for the reveal, and then we'll kind of see a bit of a shake up there. So you shouldn't take too much away from it just in this current point in time. When we get to the unique addresses, what we can see here is that went up to around that 5,500, kind of crept up with secondary sales, and then we've got the public sale where it's kind of boosted up. Now we're kind of sitting at around that 6,700 mark. It looks like it maxed out at 6,721 and then dropped down about 40 or so holders. So it looks like people have kind of got one and then sort of flipped it quite quick. And then when it comes to the percentage of people only holding one of the NFTs, we're kind of sitting around that 74-75%. So not much you can kind of take away from here. When we come down to the balance of the diamond hands and the top diamond hands, what we can see here is that we're up around that sort of 9,000 mark. Now, like I said, this hasn't revealed, so people are most likely not going to sell until there is a reveal and they can kind of see where things kind of shake up and see what kind of rarities they're actually holding. So don't take too much into account when it comes to diamond hands, because a lot of people will offload once they do kind of see what they're holding. Now to the fun one, the profit leaderboard. And we have a look at the top profit taker. We've got 92, then we've got 29, 26, and we kind of get down to the 4s. Now, it's pretty crazy to see on a profit leaderboard that within the top 10, we've got someone taking less than 4.5 and someone taking over 90. But it does mean that there should be some runway to kind of fill up this top profit. So I see this shaking out, and we're getting a few more profit takers that get up to around that 40 or 50 ETH mark, because I don't think second place would sit at 29 for very long. Having a look at where the top 5 buying addresses are, and this is where I can start to get an idea of where a price floor might come in. We're sitting at the top 5 buying addresses have been buying around at that 0.7 mark. Then a day or so ago, when it did kind of drop down and pull back, they have been getting it at that 0.55 mark. Down to the legendary collector, we can see here that they snagged a whole bunch when it initially did do that first little drop, and this is where I was actually in the market trying to get some, but the transactions were actually failing. But we can see it's starting to average out around that 0.7 mark, and then we've also got some on the public sale day when people have maybe fat fingered or something, and this is where we end up with a little bit of a wall. And then when it comes down to smart money, they're sitting between this 0.6 mark and the 0.8 mark. So what I'm taking away from this is that the average of where this buy-in price is between this 0.6 and 0.7 mark. So I would imagine that the price floor should be sitting close to a 1 ETH mark, and that's where I feel like it would comfortably sit, because I think that the people that are making these purchases and these decisions may be layering in when it gets a little bit lower, but also I don't think they're going to be offloading their bags if they do drop lower. They'll be waiting until it climbs up to offload it. So that's kind of my prediction when it comes to a price floor post reveal. There will be a bit of a dip and a shakeup, but that's kind of where it comes post reveal. If we have a look at the recent transactions, what we can see here is that 7 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago, 18, then 54. So it seems like every hour we're getting 10 to 15 sales. So what you can then do is you could then head over to Metasaurs, count down 10 to 15, and then that should give you an idea of where the price floor could move if there were no more listings being made when it comes to the project, and that's where the price floor will kind of eat away at it. Now, when it comes down to Metasaurs, I believe this is a very strong project and it has a very good runway. The people that were able to be on the pre-sale and the whitelist are people that do already have a big bag, bought at Yacht Club members. So the people that have this bag, they don't necessarily need to make a 1 ETH flip because they're holding on to something and they've got a portfolio that is quite valuable. So the people that are in this, they're most likely going to be in this for the long term. If they're not, they'll release it and let it go. And I feel like some of these top balancers will then buy in and hold. So that's why I feel like this is a very strong buy if you can get in below what people are currently doing. So if there's a wick down, snagging one isn't a bad idea. I think the artwork's all right. It's a little bit detailed. I would like to see more of what they're actually doing, but overall the community is very strong, and the fact that the founder has doxed himself is a big strength because it shows that he's not just going to kind of like run off with the money. He could try to do that, but he's somewhat of a public figure, and you can actually do your own research on him and actually have a look, and he actually does have a public facing profile, which is nice to see. Overall, I'm going to be looking at this. Like I said, I did try to get in at that 0.3, then at that 0.4. My transactions were failing, and I really didn't want to lose any of my money to gas, and I'm kind of regretting that I didn't get it at that sort of 0.45 or 0.5 mark. Saying that, I am going to wait for the reveal, see what happens, and if I can get one under that 0.5 mark, I'll definitely get in. But if I can't, I'm not going to be sort of kicking myself because I don't want to overpay or FOMO into a project. Overall, the community is strong. It looks good. The fundamentals look like they're there. So this is one of those projects where I think you should seriously do your research, watch the AMA with the founder, do your research and kind of jump into it because the community is quite strong. Anyway, I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. And if you do want to kind of reach out and have a chat, there's a link to my Discord below. I find it easy to kind of have a chat and talk about these kind of things on Discord. The YouTube comments mechanism is very hard from my perspective. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.